see.
Oh, that helps.
You're live. I like that YouTube is reminding me that I'm alive. That's always helpful. I am going to really quickly take and copy the link. Here it is. So that friends on Facebook and in other places can join. La, la, la. Everybody's on the internet right now, so everything is slowed down a little bit. Post, 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 post. Got my husband doing sound. My roadie. Hi. We've got the desk set up. My computer is on a typewriter case. So we're like, pretty professional here, actually, I think. I got some fancy pants earrings on.
Can you strum a couple?
I can strum a couple. We're trying this. I bought some home studio recording equipment because I recently published a book of the songs that I've been writing these past several years with asylum seekers. And I thought, hey, I'll start a fundraiser and we'll be able to record many of these songs. And then the pandemic and the lockdown hit. And I must express gratitude for the several people that have donated to the fundraiser. But it's stopped a bit in its tracks. I'm going to share with you the link. So as you're listening, if you decide, wow, Marika, I really just want to support your music. I think the world needs more of Marika singing. Then you can follow this link. And you can learn about the project. There's a little video there, and there's a description in writing, photos, and a link to the books that we've published. And you can support us financially, and we'll be super grateful. So here we are today in Brussels. It's sunny again, which is really amazing, and thank goodness, because when it's not sunny in Brussels after a long winter, it can be really challenging to keep your spirits lifted, and it's already challenging here in lockdown day, I think it's like 10 or 11. We started 2 Fridays ago was when our lockdown began, and then the official lockdown in Belgium began. At least not everybody started participating, but pretty quickly people have, have started to respect the lockdown. I know it's different in different countries, and there's different levels of urgency and awareness, but I'm pretty thankful that the Belgian government seems to be taking this quite seriously, and that most people seem to be respecting it. After the first few days, people really started to kind of take it seriously. It's a little bit weird because, I already am fairly isolated here because I work from home. And, so I really like the times that I do interact with people really keep me sane. Like Monday afternoons, I go and I volunteer at a refugee center where people apply for asylum. And then Friday afternoons, I teach a yoga class. And then when I walk my dog, adopting a dog, I can tell you, if you want to learn a foreign language, is a great way because people want to just talk to you about the dog. And now, instead of talking to me about the dog, people cross the street to stay away from us, which it's hard not to take it personally. But I know it's not me. It's just the pandemic.
Sing a song.
I've got my cowbell stand. Because if you have a fever, often the prescription is for more cowbell. I'm going to sing a song for you. It's not my own, but it's one that that we were just kind of thinking of different pandemic-themed songs, and this one kind of came up this morning, thanks to Bill Withers. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. And this house just ain't no home anytime she goes away. Wonder this time where she's gone. Wonder if she's gone to stay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. And this house just ain't no home anytime she goes away. And I know, 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 I know. I'm gonna leave young thing alone, but ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Oh, only darkness every day. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. This house just ain't no home anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away. When in lockdown, we all need some more cowbell. So that was Mr. Bill Withers. I've got some different like themes that I've been thinking about for these concerts. I did like a love song fest, and then I did ones that were a little bit more kind of bluesy, sardonic, a little bit more edgy, if you will, for a folk singer. We've been thinking about like songs of movement, since we're isolated and we can't move, like train theme, on the move, wandering. I might, play a couple of those today, but if you have recommendations or requests, feel free to send them, or a theme that you'd like. This is not as exciting as the cowbell.
That sounds better than that.
Yeah, fair enough. I have not yet heard that one of the repercussions or symptoms of coronavirus is that you grow another limb. So if you're playing music, you can also use a shaker, but it's possible. I've got one I can put on my foot. Thanks, sweetie. So, I've got slippers from my stepmother-in-law. She makes amazing stuff. Right now, she is sewing masks for local business owners, which is pretty amazing. She's up in the Pacific Northwest. So there are a lot of people who are some of the better elements of humanity are coming out during this pandemic. Some of the less great elements are also coming out, like blaming the virus on China, which is kind of ridiculous. I feel like in times of crisis, blame is not really all that productive. But we do what we need to do. Like everyone goes through their 7 stages of, pandemic, grief, shock, denial, all those good things. I think I'm kind of in the like depression / acceptance. I kind of like go back and forth. I've been struggling a little bit. Maybe you have also, but something that I've learned when I went through a dissertation, through my dissertation research in a doctoral program about the idea of self-sustainability or sustainability, my research was on this idea of the self and how to create a balanced existence, and then also how to learn how to, what I could do in times where my system was thrown out of balance to then restore equilibrium. And times like a global pandemic are moments where I feel my system really out of whack and it's not in my control. But the things that are in my control are, the ways that I can practice self-care. And, I have like medication that can help bring my anxiety level down. I have music. I have a really supportive husband. I have gin. Sometimes you just need a gin and tonic at noon. I mean, when in global crisis, that's just sometimes what needs to happen. So I'm going to play a song. Um, this is from the movement category, and it's by Ben Barnes. It's from the movie Jackie and Ryan, and it's like one that I really liked. I'm a moving person. I like have a really strong inner squirrel, so I'm already moving wherever I am. But then I also seem to be sort of like nomadic, wandering around the globe. So anything around movement kind of speaks to me. I'm headed southbound. Long way to go down where the weather is gonna suit my clothes. Police can't catch me. Lord, how they try. They always miss me when I'm passing by. I'm passing by. Well, I threw all my clothes in a vacant lot. Down one last dollar, boys, and that is all I've got. Well, I found all my friends just so I could say goodbye. I couldn't hold it down, good God, how I tried. Well, some got religion and they just can't win. I take to hard drinking and I push my feelings in. I'm leaving town and all the people that I know. Well, I'm drunk till tonight and this freight train's my home. I'm headed southbound. Long way to go down where the weather is gonna soothe my soul. Police can't catch me. Lord, how they try. They always miss me as I'm rolling by. I'm passing by. Rain's pouring down, makes those steel rails shine. 900 more miles and I'll be doing just fine. If the moon and the stars are the only shelter I know, I guess I've got this whole world and you to call my home. You to call my home. I'm headed southbound. Long way to go down where the weather is gonna soothe my soul. Police can't catch me. Lord, how they try. They always miss me as I'm passing by. I'm passing by. This is either a mini shaker or I'm a giant. It's fun to play with perspective during lockdown, right? I do have, I've got to say that I'm pretty thankful. I also have a husky who came over, a very sensitive boy. My husband, when we first met, he told me he really liked huskies because they're so independent. But all of the animals that seem drawn to me, husky and otherwise, are quite needy. Which I like. I like to feel needed. My husband and I have regular debates about needing versus wanting, and being careful what we wish for. We were super wishing that we wouldn't have to go back to the United States, and then boom, pandemic. So choose wisely with your wishes. We only have 2 left, so we're going to be really careful with those. Let's see. Bill Withers, Ben Barnes. Um, so I was in my concert yesterday. I was talking a little bit about the fact that when my husband and I first got together, we had quite a bit of long distance between us for several years. And as I was working on my dissertation, and I was just moving through just different challenges on the path to sustainability, because as I was studying sustainability for my dissertation, I was actively trying to create a more sustainable life. And whatever sustainable means to you is one of those words that has a lot of stigma around it. Mostly people think about it in terms of the environment. I think about it in terms of like the internal human environment landscape, if you will. And and I was learning that for me to create what I called moments of sustainability or moments of balance often required doing something creative that involved all of my attention, so that I put my attention there and I created new, more positive energy. Also, I often created music or I created a piece of writing. Um, and that helped to shift me out of feeling angry or depressed or just sort of funky and unable to really function into a space of feeling more balanced, more equanimous, if you will. And so he suggested that I try a project where I would write a song every day for a month, and I called it a month of music, a mom. 30 days, 30 songs. And today he was like, hey, maybe this is what this concert series will turn into, a month of concerts. And he suggested that maybe I try playing for like a half an hour, like 30 minutes of music every day for 30 days, just to sort of like, kind of temper it, see how it goes. And we'll see. I mean, so far, every time I play, I just start playing and I can already feel those endorphins going, and I'm feeling so much better just singing that then I end up singing for an hour. But, we'll see how it goes. I'm just going to real quick check and see if people are able to join in here. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't know. I'm just going to keep playing. The nice thing about, so I'm using YouTube live stream, is that it saves to my YouTube channel. So, and if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll actually get an email anytime I start playing a concert. I think that warrants some cowbell. All right, another song. I don't know. Yesterday I was feeling kind of blue. Today I've been feeling a little bit blue. So I think I'm going to play some songs that fit with that mood. But I'll pick it up. I had a request for the happy song, which can't help but make you feel happy. It's a really fun one. So. This is also kind of a movement song. It's really hard for me to stay still, as I mentioned. I always feel like with the changing of the seasons that, it's just time to move again, which I did for a really long time. Every new season, it's like a new job, a new place. Part squirrel, part bird. My first word was bird. The cloud move over Pontiac skies. Their silent thunder matches mine. I know this feeling from long ago. I wondered, was it gone? But now I know. So when she calls, don't send her my way. When it hurts, you'll know it's the right thing. Michigan's in the rear view now. Keep your hands where I can see them. You took the words right out of my mouth when you knew that I would need them. What am I supposed supposed to do now without you? Without you, it's unannounced, like you would expect it. I'm on broke down brake lines and Motown records, and all that's left is a blind reflection. But you know what's coming and you'll regret it. So when she calls, don't send her my way. When it hurts most, it's the right thing. Michigan's in the rear view now. Keep your hands where I can see them. You took the words right out of my mouth when you knew that I would need them. What am I supposed to do now without you? Without you, without you. So a little melancholy to just kind of honor the gravity of the situation. I think like every country, every culture, every individual being is just dealing differently with the current events that are affecting, all of us, and they're affecting all of us differently. I mean, we're in a country that I think has started pretty early by being overly cautious to try to avoid what was happening in Italy. We have friends in Italy that aren't able to leave their house without a declaration explaining why they're outside. They're not allowed to recreate outside. I'm so very thankful that I can still go to the forest by our house because I need trees for sanity. I need to be outside. And so I'm really grateful that that is still possible. I feel like I have this little sort of I don't know if you can really see, but yeah, I've got this kind of cocoon of music stuff all around me. I've got like the husky. I've got my little cowbell stand on our little grocery trolley, a poussette, if you will, en français. Got like a little music set up, the decaf that my sweetie made me, and my little table for my computer, which is things piled on top of each other. We're really MacGyvering it here, which I have heard recently is maybe going to become part of the Oxford English Dictionary, which is pretty exciting. MacGyver's earned it. He's pretty clever. So my dad requested a song. And this song has been requested for almost every concert. It's a song that I wrote with a little girl who's no longer little, I'm sure, and no longer young. She's still youngish, I'm sure. But when I was living in Lowell, I was another part of my life. I was a park ranger at multiple national parks, and one of those parks was Lowell National Historical Park, north of Boston, Massachusetts. Holla! And in February, we do these Kids Week activities, and so I think it was a school vacation, and the kids would come in and we do different arts and crafts and different things with them. And so I of course would do songwriting, and I had one session where there's just one girl named Bria who, after she started learning guitar, which I thought was awesome. She brought her guitar to show me one day, which is really cute, and we wrote a song together. And she's pretty shy, so I was trying to think about okay, what should we write a song about? How about what do you like? What makes you happy? And that wasn't working, so then I asked her what she didn't like, and that really got her revved up. Sometimes it's easier to get out the stuff that you don't like to make room to then share the stuff that you do like. So This is the happy song, or some people call it the penguin song, which you'll, if you're like wondering, keep listening and you'll find out why. I don't like getting up in the morning because I'm sleepy and it's cozy in my bed. I don't like the sound of cars beeping in the night. They keep me awake even if I'm tired. What makes me happy? Penguins make me happy. How they lay on their bellies and they slide into the water. What makes me happy? My friends make me happy. We play together and hang out. When I hear the word happy, I think about a smile. That's what happy means to me. When I hear the word happy, I think about a smile. That's what happy means to me. When I grow up, I want to be a teacher because my teacher makes learning seem like fun. Her name is Mrs. No Breaker. I want to be like her someday. What makes me happy? Penguins make me happy. How they lay on their bellies and they slide into the water. What makes me happy? My friends make me happy. We play together and hang out. When I hear the word happy, I think about a smile. That's what happy means to me. When I hear the word happy, I think about a smile. That's what happy means to me. Oh, that's what happy means to me. Okay, so full disclosure, I volunteer at a refugee center on Mondays, well, when we're not in times of pandemic lockdown. And when I first started going there, I use this method of songwriting that I developed that I call story to song. I developed with a colleague, but he and I do something pretty different now, and he calls his method of songwriting something different, but I call it story to song. And basically because it begins with a story, and then we guide the words of the story and the melody into a song, thinking of music as a universal language to communicate human experience, and also as a language that everyone, so at least many people, can really relate to. The melody itself can shift the emotion, in our bodies. If we're listening to a sad song, if we want to feel sad, if we're listening to a happy song, if we want to shake that sadness, and but what I was noticing, so I went for several months, and what I was noticing was that, that people were, reticent for different reasons to kind of sing, or, kind of like participate more than I was. I think of myself more as a guide, like a guiding songwriter, which is why I call what I do guiding song, using the method story to song. Anyway, that's all just language. But when you're standing there with an instrument, people sort of identify you as a quote musician, which is ironic because I never really think of myself as like a musician, but I guess I kind of am. But so what I did was I went to, no, where did my music? Oh my God, my husband stole my bag of musical instruments. Thief! So I went to several music stores in Brussels, and then I found one that had all of these little instruments, and I bless their hearts, they let me try out like every single one for a while because I wanted to hear what the different sounds were. And then I eventually got this little like, apparently it's a toiletry case, but I liked it because it has all the countries on it, and I got like little, you know, Irish spoons, egg shakers. There's really like there's something for everyone. There's little like chimes, like little like Buddhist chimes, and so I started when I was I would go to the center, and now when I perform I also bring this, and I let people pick out an instrument, and it's really cool because people shift from being sort of like observers to being participants and to really taking on that identity of the creative artist, the musician. And then we create this moment where we're all together, kind of like how we're all together in lockdown. And and it's pretty beautiful. I early on I bought this cowbell because it's really pretty, but I had to retire the cowbell almost immediately because it's also really loud. And if you get one person who, bless their heart, is like really exuberant about playing the rhythm instrument, wow, then my Boston accent came out there. My rhythm instrument, like they're just like, child, adult, it doesn't matter, and then you don't hear anything else from the whole song, and maybe there's some time for that, like if you're Christopher Walken on Saturday Night Live, but it's not always what I'm going for. So since I'm talking about the refugee center, and we've been writing what we call poems and songs of migration, and one of one of my friends who's been tuning into these concerts asked if I would sing this song that we wrote. It's called "I Could Be You, You Could Be Me," and we wrote it with an asylum seeker from Gaza, and it's kind of about this idea that like any of our situations could be changed. Like my situation, it could change in a moment, and I could be experiencing something that someone else is experiencing, and and vice versa. That life could be random, and if I had been born into a situation, my life, as I know it, who I am, could be very different. So it's an invitation, as many of these migration songs are, to kind of open your heart and your mind and empathize with people who are different from you, maybe that you've been taught to fear or other, and to recognize that they're maybe not that different from you. And so this is called "I Could Be You, You Could Be Me." And if you don't have instruments, you can like snap or clap because we have built-in rhythm instruments. So you don't need anything fancy, just yourself. Be fancy. I could be you, you could be me. We can change the dark to light if we want to be free. We are bound together if only we could see. I could be you, you could be me. I lost my foot rhythm instrument. It's really quite tragic. We don't choose our species if we're a peacock or a pigeon. We don't choose our family, our country, or religion. I could be the king of Belgium. He could be a refugee. I could be you, you could be me. What if we couldn't see the color of our skin? All we could see was the person's soul within. Buddhist, Christian, Jewish, Shiite, or Sunni. I could be you, you could be me. We don't have to follow a story born of fear. We all come from somewhere else, but we're together here. Our story's not yet written, it's who we choose to be. I could be you, you could be me. And then we just do it again, just like that first verse. I could be you could be me. We can change the dark to light if we want to be free. We are bound together if only we could see. I could be you could be me. I could be you could be me. I could be you could be me. Jazz hands. And the crowd went wild because migration songs, I think, are the next big hit in this world. At least this seems to be one that speaks to people in a big way. And why not, If you are interested in learning more about these songs, you can go to my website, guidingsong.com. And then if you do a backslash and you just type in migration songs, you can click on each song in the order that they were written. There's many because I've been volunteering there with my co-volunteer Sarah for the last 3 years. And you can read, I wrote a blog post for every song, just about every song that we've written. So I felt like it was really important not just to be there welcoming people and also inviting, people who are kind of in a state of limbo and not necessarily feeling like they have a voice in the society where they are or a choice in what happens to them in terms of their asylum status. But also, I felt like it was important to write about the experience as a kind of archive. Like this is part of the history of the world on my little website. And so you can read about the writings of the songs, you can listen to recordings, you can see little YouTube videos and photographs. And then, and this is, if interest turns to something more passionate, we have these little books that we just published, On the Move, Poems and Songs of Migration. On the back, we've got our signature pigeon, We Are Not So Different, You and I, which I think is a song I'm going to play next because it's another one that is it's all about this idea that, yes, we're different, but we're also, we're in it together. So our experiences may be different, but our universals are connected. And, in the book, you can see these are photos that we took just from our Mondays at the center. And often, we have the song, we have the country that the asylum seeker was from, who we wrote the song with, the key that it's in for musicians, and then we'll have a photo with the actual papers that we put up on the wall from when we wrote the song, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of a book of poetry, it's a book of music, it's a book of hope and love for the future. The themes from these songs are really predominantly hopeful. It's really quite amazing. And we wrote this song that's called the Pigeon Song, even though the word pigeon doesn't actually make it into the song. It's more symbolic, which, like so many things, right? But it's about so many things, about like just being present in the moment, sharing the moment with other beings and other people, and recognizing, that line, we're not so different, you and I. And it's about whatever it is for you. That's why it's a folk song. I am a bird with a broken wing, but I'm still learning how to sing. Nobody likes me, nobody loves me, but still I sing every day. All I have is this moment. All I have is this time. We are not so different, you and I. Let us share this moment. Let us share this time. We are not so different, you and I. I woke up this morning and I could not hear my song. But somehow I found a way to carry on. All I have is this moment. All I have is this time. We are not so different, you and I. Let us share this moment. Let us share this time. We are not so different, you and I. When my song is hard to find, will you share your song with me? If we sing together, we create harmony. All I have is this moment. All I have is this time. We are not so different, you and I. Let us share this moment. Let us share this time. We are not so different, you and I. I can hear birds singing outside, so I think clearly the pigeon song is making it's making a splash across species for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, so the idea that all we have is this moment. I mean, I guess it's like it's a very Buddhist idea. Um, it's very Zen. Just and I haven't felt very Zen the last few days. I admit, like I have been waking up feeling pretty low, even though it's sunny. Kind of feeling like having trouble motivating to do the things that I know are going to make me feel better. Even because, like, okay, so even in pandemic and in lockdown, the voice of my inner critic is strong. And, it's saying to me, well, like, no one's listening to your concerts. Why sing? You're clearly not very organized for these concerts. So, like, maybe you just shouldn't sing today. I mean, all these, like, really, really helpful messages. Thanks, inner critic. Um, but I should sing because, if anything, during a pandemic, you should do the things that help you feel better. I mean, as long as you're not hurting anyone or yourself, practice that self care. And I think just getting out of bed in lockdown is like a big deal. You should, like pat yourself on the back for doing that. For me, just singing, even if I don't have like a theme for today and I haven't lined up a bunch of perfectly chosen songs. It's just enough just to sing. And I see like friends joining. Yes, was singing the pigeon song just as my co-volunteer Sarah joined. And it's true, we do have a, third verse that I recently discovered. Um, and I can't remember it exactly, but yeah, maybe next time I play the song, I'll sing it. And yeah, just singing is like it's pretty good. Since we're on the theme of we're on the theme of singing, right? So really, I could sing any song. Um, I have like a whole stack of song sheets that I brought with me to Brussels because in the US I did perform a little bit, like nothing big time, just like at some restaurants and bars and events like at Prescott College here and there. Sometimes I would do songwriting workshops where people could participate and we'd write a song either from one person's story or many. And 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 that was pretty cool. So I like brought a whole stack of pages with me. Um, so I'm gonna sing one of those songs. You might recognize it. She's got a smile and it seems to me reminds me of childhood memories when everything was as fresh as the bluest sky. Now and then when I see her face, she takes me away to that special place. I stare too long, I'll probably break down and cry. Oh, sweet child of mine. Oh, sweet love of mine. Her hair reminds me of a warm, safe place where as a child I'd hide and pray for the thunder and the rain to quietly pass me by. And she's got eyes of the bluest sky, as if they thought of rain. I hate to look into those eyes and see an ounce of pain. Oh, 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 sweet child of mine. Oh, oh, sweet child of mine. Oh, 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 sweet child of mine. Oh, oh, sweet love of mine. So this is so I'm a yoga teacher, and I teach a method of Anusara, a method of Hatha yoga. Hatha is the asana part, called Anusara yoga. Anusara means to flow with grace, and they teach us different ways of developing a class. One way is to develop a class sequence on a theme. So I've talked for my concerts, like I have this theme that I did that love song theme, and I did a more sort of like dystopian, cynical, bluesy theme. And then, you can also develop what they call a potpourri class, which is just like a little bit of everything. And so, all the parts of the body are warmed up, and it's an opportunity to practice lots of different things. So this is kind of a potpourri concert theme. We've got some migration songs, we've got some blues tunes, some movement tunes, some love songs, some melancholy, some joy, uh, you know, so that we can laugh together, we can cry together, we can sing, we can open our hearts, and always keep those hearts open. Unless you're feeling really sad and you need to actually close your heart a little more just to protect yourself, which is that's totally understandable, especially in these very groundless, uncertain times. There's a song that is not my own, but it's one that I really love by Daisy May, and it's one that I think about in difficult times. It's one that I've sung to beings that I love in difficult times, human, canine. When we adopted a dog because, so my husband's dog had passed away, and I had gotten really accustomed to having a dog around. And even though my husband was like, "No, I'm not ready for a dog," I was like, "I need a dog." And bless my husband's heart, we drove down and we adopted this dog. He told me on the way down, "Thank you for giving me opportunities to grow," which we now use fairly regularly. We're doing things outside of our comfort zone. But we adopted this dog whose name was Okami. We thought he probably had like wolf in him. He was this real sort of like wise, mythical kind of creature. And look, you can see, like, just look at those eyes. And we had him for about 5 months, and he got really sick. Took him to the vet. We did what we thought, all the things you're supposed to do, but we happened to choose the wrong vet and not, or maybe not the wrong vet, but just, a vet who just had a bad month. He did not do the right test. And it took us a month to finally figure out from like my Google researching what was wrong with him. We celebrated because we thought, yay, now we can heal him. But it was too late and he passed away. But while he was sick, I sang the song for him, which now means probably I'm not going to be able to get through the song without crying. But music can, it can just do so many different things. It can remind us of beautiful times, joyful times, sad times. It can help lift us up. It can just help. And so this song, I just think has meaning, like just layers and layers of meaning, like any story, like any song. But the idea that we can rise up singing no matter what, to me is really hopeful. If you are weary, trying to find your way home, don't give up, my friend, 'cause you are not alone. In a world full of trouble, trouble may find you. Well, I've got your medicine, baby. This is what you do. You got to rise up singing. In time this too shall pass. You got to rise up singing. Trouble ain't built to last. And when you're left standing with no hope inside, 'cause at the end of the tunnel, someone's dimming out the light. Well, you can lose your way and wind up far from home. Till the day you lose your voice, you cannot lose your song. You've got to rise up singing. In time this too shall pass. You got to rise up singing. Trouble ain't built to last. Life ain't easy, and life will make you cry. But so long as you're breathing, you are still alive. And when you're standing at the station waiting for your train, don't you think you will be singing, oh, that sweet refrain? You got to rise up singing. In time this too shall pass. You got to rise up singing. Trouble ain't built to last. Oh no, trouble ain't built to last. Rise up singing, friends. I think part of the challenge is that with everything we know about being a human, the fact that we can get sick, we can die. We As soon as we're born, we start dying. We have a short lifespan. We still at least I still form this sense of permanence, and this idea that that the people I love, if they do get sick, the people, the beings, the dogs, the cats, that Western medicine will save them. And so I had this just real feeling that, okay, well, no matter what, we're going to figure it out, like with this dog, and he'll be all right. And when we finally figured out what was wrong with him, we celebrated. And it was just, I was not prepared. I wasn't prepared to lose him. Um, and I only had him for 5 months. I don't know if there's ever enough time, with anyone that you love, to lose them. Um, but I do know that, it's important to really, I think that's one of the reasons why it's so important, especially when we have these big global events like a pandemic, to kind of shake us back into that perspective of really treasuring the moments that we do have with the people that we love. Maybe you're in lockdown with your family, or with a beloved cat or a dog, or a philosopher and a cat and a dog and two more cats if you're me. And I mean, we're experiencing all spectrum of emotion. I already am a highly sensitive person. I get frustrated really easily. Um, I have something weird with my hands where my fingers blow up sometimes and get really itchy, and it's really painful. It's clearly not life threatening. I clearly am in great health, but it's just one more little thing that just sort of shakes my equanimity. And then and then it's it takes a lot to get it back. But man, my husband has been so sweet and patient with me, um, just helping me feel better, setting up all this music stuff for me, even though he's supposed to be working on his dissertation. I feel so thankful that, instead of being frustrated that I'm taking an hour of each of his precious days to work on this dissertation, because he's on a timeline. At least, well, all timelines are a little bit wonky right now, but he's got a deadline to finish. That he's really supporting me, in doing this. And I cannot sing today the song that I wrote for this dog, because I will weep. And we let's end things on a positive note, at least. It's important to feel the melancholy, but then it's also good to to try to be joyful, and think about, um, just how to, it's, good, okay, for a few minutes, whatever, a few days, months, years, maybe you just need to feel that sadness. But then at some point, I think it's important to try to shift perspective, for me at least, because otherwise I stay in that vortex forever. And so this is a song that I played the other day. It's not my own, but it's one that I've made my own, which is a great thing about music. It's by a group called Redbird out of Massachusetts. And they wrote this song, and I heard them play it in a little place in Cambridge, in Harvard Square, when I lived in Lowell. And I'm so thankful, because I really need the song right now. Maybe you do too. I spent all day yesterday watching the grass grow. And what I learned is the grass really grows slow. Now I'm hanging around trying to get inspired. Punch a hole in my cage and I reach out blind. Have patience, everything will be alright. Have patience, give it just a little time. Everything will be alright. I spent all day yesterday sitting at a red light, 'cause She told me, give it just a little more time. I lost my car in a parking lot. Got a newspaper and I decided to watch. Have patience, everything will be alright. Have patience, give it just a little time. Everything will be alright. I spent all day yesterday listening to church bells ring. Must have been a Sunday, I could hear a choir sing. Down in the graveyard, they're listening the underground. They're the only ones ever calm down. Have patience, everything will be alright. Have patience, give it just a little time. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. Patience is not something that I'm all that good at, but looking at the road ahead, it's a really good virtue to practice, and I've got some time to practice it because I think we're going to be here in lockdown for a while. A yoga teacher that I know in the Netherlands said that they just received the order that their lockdown would be extended until the 1st of June, and here we are, March 24th. So we've got a little time. We've got time together, friends. So if you have song requests, themes of music that you'd like to hear, please let me know. Send me a little message. I really, especially in these times, like we're all over, and it can be really easy to feel alone. It's lovely to get a little message, just a reminder, that someone's thinking about you. Um, I am thinking about all of you, sending you lots of love, heart. And I'll look forward to singing for you again soon. Have a great rest of your day, wherever in the world you find yourself. I hope that you can find things to be grateful for. If you're feeling sad, it's okay. Feel it. Allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. I think that's a really important step towards shifting whatever energy you want to shift. Namaste. Ciao for now.